Setting up a campsite efficiently and responsibly makes a more memorable outdoor adventure. Let's explore the intricacies of establishing a backpacking campsite, covering everything from pitching your tent to practicing leave no trace principles. The first step is to select an appropriate campsite. If there are designated campsites, always stay in those first. If there are no designated spots, look for a flat, level area that is at least 200 feet away from water sources to minimize environmental impact. Avoid setting up camp on fragile vegetation and consider factors like sun exposure, wind direction, and proximity to potential hazards such as dead trees or avalanche zones. Once you find the perfect campsite, it's time to pitch your tent. While it's important to read the manufacturer's instructions, as each tent will vary slightly, here are some general guidelines to get you started. Begin by clearing the ground of any rocks or debris that could puncture your tent floor. Lay out a tarp or footprint to provide an extra layer of protection from water. Lay the body of your tent on top of the footprint. Each corner will have a grommet, which is a little circular piece of metal. Match each grommet of the tent to the footprint. In some cases, like this tent here, they are color-coded for ease of assembly. Position the doors to your preferred direction. Assemble your tent poles and secure them in the grommets. Most tents cross the poles over one another in a diagonal fashion. You can then secure them to the tent with the clips. Drape your rainfly over your tent, and again, attach them to the corresponding grommets. There will be additional strings which you will attach to in the next step. Finally, stake down your tent firmly to withstand gusty winds and rain. I like starting with 2 corners diagonally from one another and pulling the tent taut. Once you have all of the corners of the tent staked down, you can stake down the rest of the rainfly. Once your tent is set up, you're ready for the rest of your camp. Maximize efficiency and organization at your campsite by employing the triangle setup method. This configuration divides your campsite into 3 distinct zones: sleeping, cooking and eating, and food storage. Here's how to do it. First, identify a place to pitch your tent, which we just talked about. Once it's all set up, walk 200 feet, which is about 70 adult steps, away from your sleep space. This is where you'll cook. Cooking away from your tent minimizes the risk of attracting wildlife. When you're done cooking, walk another 200 feet away from both your sleeping and cooking spaces. This is where you'll store your food. Make sure to store your food securely in your bear canisters to prevent animals from accessing your provisions. I'll link a video from earlier in this Backpacking 101 series below if you would like to learn more about safe food storage in the backcountry. Notice how the configuration of your sleeping area, cooking space, and food storage creates a triangle. Each area is 200 feet away from the other 2. There will be times where setting up each of these spaces exactly 200 feet away from one another won't be possible. This is a guideline to strive for, not a hard and set rule. Let's talk about some other important camp practices. A campfire can enhance the ambiance of your campsite, but it also comes with responsibilities. Build your fire in a designated fire ring or pit whenever possible. Use only locally sourced firewood and never leave your fire unattended. When it's time to extinguish the flames, drown the fire with water, stir the ashes, and repeat until the embers are cold to the touch. Always adhere to any fire regulations or bans in the area. Preserving the pristine beauty of our natural landscapes is a responsibility all outdoor recreationists should own. Follow leave no trace principles to minimize your environmental impact while camping. These include, but are not limited to, packing out all trash, including food scraps and hygiene products. Even if items are compostable, they're not natural to that area, so please compost them once you return to civilization. When bathing or washing dishes, use biodegradable soap and dispose of wastewater at least 200 feet away from water sources. Practice proper waste disposal techniques, such as burying human waste in cat holes dug at least 6 to 8 inches deep. I recommend digging several cat holes once you're done setting up camp, so you're not having to dig them when you actually need to go. Setting up a backpacking campsite requires careful planning, attention to detail, and a commitment to environmental stewardship. By following the tips and techniques outlined in this video, you can create a safe, comfortable, and sustainable home in the wilderness. Remember to leave no trace, respect nature, and leave your campsite better than you found it. Happy trails!